know. Bright, it was just me. Right. Let's see. Oh. There you go. So we're going live. Got 3 Polo ponies here. 1, 2, another 3 up there. It's a bit annoying, I can't get it in the screen. But I'm going to start on that one. So these horses have slightly different shoes to your normal horses. It's very similar to like a race plate. Kind of have one like that, which is slightly lighter. These are a little bit chunkier, a little lighter. So tend to have these. Screaming at each other. Polo ponies, I do them cold, some guys do them hot, so they have the smoke and stuff like that. Some of these horses are not used to that smoke. A lot of them come from Argentina, Spain, where they don't do hot shoeing. So these are highly strung horses. Most of the time they're really good, so to start doing the fronts on that one, then do the fronts on the next one. Go along and do all the fronts, and then do all the backs. So better get some sunscreen on, because otherwise I'm going to burn up pretty bad. Let's get some of that first before I forget. Literally can't leave the house without this stuff. Try and get this magnet thing to stick to my box, but we'll see. Quite a lot of the time it doesn't work and just falls off, so we shall go from there. So I think I'll just crack on, I guess. So what we use, normally you use like an anvil and stuff. We use this, and a hammer. Sort of take this round with you, sort of 2 up. It's basically like a portable anvil. Sort of lugging a great big heavy one around. So that stooled back is what it's called. Easy enough to take with you. Otherwise that big anvil is absolutely nightmare. So crack on. Got these chaps. There's loads of different designs of these chaps. You can have long, short, different amounts of pockets, all kinds of stuff. Really it comes to whatever you think, what you tailor as yours. So we've got a straight blade, which is just one side. And there's another thing called a loop knife. So the knife goes all the way around, creates a loop. Pretty obvious. I'm squinting because this is actually on my van, which is white. The sun's reflecting off that and it's making it really bright. So I can get you guys to sit in there. Lovely. There's the first one. I wonder if it'll sit. There you go. So that's a bit easier. So you see, these have probably been about 4 or 5 weeks. These horses. Been out a bit. Not too bad, but they've grown a lot of foot because these are in the stables full time in the season. And in the winter they just take all the shoes off, just chuck them out for 6 months. So they get 6 months holidays, all out together like a herd. So it's quite nice to get back. Obviously, it's quite tough for the summer, but at least they get time off to be a horse, which is good. No, I don't milk these horses. I'm sure in some countries they do milk horses, but I've never tried it. But let me know what it tastes like. I'll put down here. see a bit more what's going on. Not that far down, mate. There you go, so there you go. So this triangle bit that you see here, it's called the frog. I'm not sure why it's called the frog, probably it's Latin or something, but this just allows grip, and where it's actually quite soft, it helps blood supply flow around. So, not a pump, it just aids in that blood supply. It does actually allow this foot to flex. So we trim off all the excess hoof that's grown. So put your fingernail, do the same thing. So huge nail cutters, and we use a rasp just to get a huge nail file. Make sure it's nice and level. New pair of shoes. If you've got the right size, which I don't, so I think I'll get bigger ones. Bigger pair. So with this, everything that we play with as farriers, the hoof wall, the sole, the frog, everything in this hoof capsule has got no nerve endings in it, so they can't directly feel what they're doing. They can feel the vibration. Obviously, if you go deep enough into the hoof, there is bone and stuff like that, but we don't need to go that deep into the feet, so there's just no need to. So this is the stall jack. Pretty much get the shape that you want, and there we go. That's that. Gonna need some nails as well, so I need to go get some of them. So I've got to put them in my box. Some nails. So, got the shoe fitted up. Slightly smaller hammer. We just call it a nailing on hammer. Loads of different styles of these, but they'll pretty much do the same thing. And then where you fitted the shoe, comes out there, see? So you fit the shoe. So in theory, imagine if you've got a really fat fingernail, it's going up through the dead bit of your fingernail, that's the same thing. Not going underneath the fingernail, obviously that would hurt. But it's just a huge fingernail, that's pretty much all the hoof capsule is. Tractors going everywhere today. So this is a big Polo yard. This one is a Polo pony. I've actually got 6 of these to do today, so be here for a while. So generally you do 6 and 6, 6 and 6, 3 and 3 each side, which makes 6 nails. Sometimes you can do more, sometimes you can do less. You just literally put enough nails in, keep it short. That's kind of all you need to do. And so there's no nerve endings in this, so it's pretty much the same way. Did that to my boot, that's all you feel. It doesn't actually hurt, you just have that sensation of vibration. So that's the bit they just got used to, and often as they get used to it, they actually kind of enjoy it because it's quite therapeutic for them. Right, let's get around to the other side of this foot. Right. Alright, so now we're on this side of the horse. We'll do this front foot. So it's kind of the same process. You just clenches with a buffer. Like so. The clenches are basically the little tabs that we create when we finish it off. Like tiny little hooks or clips that go on top of the nails that we create. Keeps your shoe on. Makes life a lot easier. No, horse can't feel a single thing. If this horse could feel it, it wouldn't be standing here right now. He's pretty much chilled. He's got his bottom lip going, he's half asleep. So if this caused any pain, this horse would be well awake and out of it. So you see all this scaly stuff at the bottom. You can see from there. All this scaly stuff. Just find a bit better to put the phone. There. You can see all this scaly stuff here. That's what we call the sole. And it just grows and naturally flakes out. And this bit of the frog that's grown just needs a little bit of trim back. So it's relatively in shape. The air can get into all the grooves and stuff like that, because the last thing you want is any bacteria thrashing. The toolbox is not helping me out with this camera. There we go. So now the horse doesn't feel any of this. It's just these basically big nail cutters. We just call them hoof cutters, but they're essentially a nail cutter. Doesn't hurt anything if you trim your nails. Tested it down hundreds of years. Found out the best way of doing it. Make it nice and smooth with a nail file. So this bit that you see around here, that is your fingernail. That is basically a giant fingernail with dead, no nerve ends in it. So yeah, don't feel it. Use our little stool jack, which is this thing. This helps you. Helps you knock the shoes around to get into shape. Fix the foot. And once you've got that, start knocking my phone out. So these nails. Ooh, there we go. And you just nail the shoe on. It stays on. These will stay on about 4 or 5 weeks. And then I'll be doing the same thing again with the foot's grown, shoes worn, fresh shoes on them. There we go. So that shoe's all nailed on. So what you'll see is once they're nailed on, you see the nails that come out here. Here like that. So what these, we'll cut these and then we'll flip these over into the hoof wall. He's thinking I'm picking his foot up. So then you make these little tabs with where these holes used to be. So you've seen this foot has grown. Now these are new nail holes, as this hoof wall will grow down. Same on that foot. So these are the old nail holes. These are the new ones because the hoof wall is growing down. So this is just all the excess that needs to come off. So we've just got to do the finishing process. And then we've got to do that for the back feet. And those 3 over there, or 2 over there. And I've got over 3 more to go do. Ooh. So yeah, so that's kind of the fundamentals of it. So Polo pony is different to your normal horse, different to your racehorse, but really you're showing them very different styles, different shoes, different styles per horse, per discipline. So right. So you can see these nails that were here. So we just actually cut these nails to length. So, well, you might be able to rasp them to length. Everybody has their own way of doing it. And then you just make these little hooks that go over there, nice and smooth, and you just rasp it back. Round to the other side. Cut it a length. Insert little tabs. So this little nail gets hooked under there, and then it just flips it over. Just a really big posh nail parlour. That's kind of all this is. So I'll show you the difference between one or the other. Oh wow. So if we flip the camera around, see this one's all finished. These tabs are all created. It's nice and smooth, there's no sharp edges. See the nails haven't been touched on this one yet. Nails are sticking out, excess hoof. But this one's all back, all nice and smooth. So we're just gonna do the same thing. No, this was not a Queen's horse, I'm afraid. I'm sure some of these are played in the Queen's Garden, which is Windsor Great Park. They've got a place called Guards. And I can get this to sit without twisting and being all stupid this far. It just doesn't want to play, does it? There we go. No legs. So yeah, some of these were played at Windsor Castle at Guards Polo. So, you know, pretty close. So again, cut these back to length. Anyway, the reason why these horses have shoes because they're on concrete and they exercise more than what their feet can grow. So these shoes are just purely here for protection and allowing the horse to be used more, you know, especially on sort of artificial grounds like concrete, tarmac, stuff like that. So you wouldn't be able to ride on those for very long if you didn't have shoes on. So mostly there for protection. There we go. So, they're all nice and smooth now, both sides. So, oh, it is sunny out here today. So that's what you do, is you literally replacing. So we're taking off that bit of hoof, you're actually realigning the bone column, which is a little bit more than you think. You've got to learn all about your knee, cannon bone, long pastern, short pastern. The pedal bone is actually in here. Got another bone at the back here. So kind of, in the perfect world, you want this pastern to carry on with that angle, like that. So as the foot grows, it will grow toe and get longer. That's why you see big, horses with long flappy feet. It's because they've just not been trimmed and looked after. So, a bit of polish. Yeah, I'm gonna do donkey hooves. Slightly different makeup in their feet, but relatively the same. There you go, it's all shiny. There you go, look how stressed that horse isn't. Chilled, doesn't care, got scratches. So that's pretty much it really. That's the shoeing process for the front. And then the backs are slightly different. So if you see how, come on little legs. See how round they are, like a classic shoe. You go to a back foot. Come on, mate. See how they're slightly narrower. So the back feet are just for digging in and power. So they dig into the ground, they scoop, and then they push for power. So that's what the back feet are, slightly narrower. So that's kind of the basics. So we've got these two here to do next. Yeah, I've been kicked. It's kind of what happens when you're sort of like in this game. I've been kicked in the arms, the legs. I've actually had one to the face. So yeah, that's kind of the territory you play for. Try and avoid those ones. Give them to someone who's a little bit faster than me, because I'm getting old and slow. But yeah, I'm afraid it is kind of like a hazard. But yeah, I've got a few here to do, to be fair. So I have a little routine that we have at the polo yard. So all the horses that need to be shod, they leave the head collar outside the front of their stable. So that one's outside there. These head collars, that one's due to be shod. And that grey one down the end, that's due to be shod. So it's a little system we have, because I've got here about, about 2 o'clock now. So all the guys that work here, they have like little siestas halfway through the day, just because that's their routine. They get up really early. They get up at like 4 a.m, exercise for the horses before it gets hot, and then they have their little siestas, and then they'll come out later this evening and then give them exercise, play them, do some chuckers, get them all ready for the big games that will be happening. Got Gold Cup and Queen's Cup. Well, that's just gone actually. We've got a few other tournaments that are still going. So yeah, the Gold Cup's in July, so that's not far from here. It's in Cowdrey. So they'll be getting them all prepped, doing the tournaments, getting for the qualifiers and stuff like that. So it should be pretty cool. So it varies quite a bit on how much horses cost to get shod all the way around. So these Polo ponies are about 120 quid each. But if you start putting pads and all kinds of crazy stuff, remedial shoes, bar shoes, different types of things, you can easily rack up. You can get to like 400 or 500 quid easy per time, and they'll be done every sort of 4 or 5 weeks. So yeah, so you got to think twice when you're having a horse. The easiest bit is buying it. It's the cheapest part, and then it's the actual maintenance, having a stable, livery, tack, back done, physio's done, farriers come out, any injuries, the vet comes out. So you can easily get quite an expensive sport, especially if you've got, 30 that are here. So you've got 30 horses that potentially could do that. Cost you a fortune. Obviously having one's expensive, but 30 on a polo team, and could be a lot more. I know some polo teams have 120 horses, so it can be quite pricey. But see how they're used to this every day. Look, it's all around them. They don't care. They're pretty chill. This one's the same. That one's chill. That one's falling asleep next to it. So I'm pretty sure they've all had exercise this morning, so they're having a little snooze themselves. So I want to pop you guys up here on the side of the van. I'm going to carry on. I do that one from a distance, because otherwise it's going to take me all day. I'll teach you anything else to do with this, but just have a little look and see what's going on. This toolbox never gets any lighter. These old shoes. But yeah, these horses, yeah, they are horses in the day, so they can be a little bit unpredictable. They can be lovely and quiet, and then next minute they're off. But generally they're quiet, so if one pulls back, it's pretty normal. Right. So there we go, that's kind of another one done from a distance. No, I don't need to hot shoe these ones. You know, a lot of people ask that question, what's the difference between hot and cold shoeing? It's not really a lot, especially when you're doing the lighter shoes. The bigger shoes are the big chunky ones, which I do have some in my van. You just can't move them cold because it's just too much steel. So hence why we do the hot shoeing. Back in the day, horses used to be massive. So, you know, look at that shoe. So these are the shoes that I'm putting on today. Really light, really thin, really easy to move cold. You try and move that cold, it's near impossible. So hence why we do those hot shoeing, because you just can't move them unless they're hot. So you can do these hot shoeing, but for the sake of the horses, these horses are not used to it. They're normally done cold shoeing in Argentina, Spain, Australia, New Zealand, wherever they come from. So that's kind of what we're used to. Trying to do these hot and having them scared of it, jumping around, there's just no point because they're just not used to it. So putting them through that stress is a bit pointless, really. It makes their life harder, my life harder. So for these lot, they prefer being cold, in my opinion. Some guys do them hot, just get them done hot, but it's fine. So I'm gonna leave you guys to it. I've got to crack on with these ones, but next one ready for a pair of fronts, and then I'll go along and do all the backs. So it's like a little bit of a conveyor belt, but you know, you just have to plod your way through it. Got the music going now, so it should be pretty good. But thanks for watching. Hope you found it a little bit interesting. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some more stuff that we can learn next time.